Hello, Panto Archive viewers, fellow performers. I hope everybody's safe and well and you're getting through this crazy time in the best way possible. I've enjoyed watching all these Q&A videos and I was really chuffed when Panto Archive asked me to take part. So I've got 5 questions here that I'm going to do my best to answer. So yeah, let's crack on, shall we? Question number 1. Do you think Panto has changed in more recent years to become more politically correct and to ensure that it does not offend anyone? Really interesting question, this, to start with. Yes, I do think it's changed, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that the writers and producers, directors, and the cast members as well, we all work really hard to keep it fresh, topical, and current. But I also think we also try very hard to keep as much traditional pantomime in as possible. And I think the blend of that is working really well. And I think the audience is obviously flocking back. Fingers crossed will flock back when we can all reopen and get back into the theatres. But by keeping it modern, current, keeping with the times, obviously that's going to make sure that we're politically correct and all of that sort of thing, but also with the traditional side as well. And it really is testament to all the writers, producers. But I think that's a good thing, and I think it shows the audience that it's not the same show each year. Obviously they'll see the traditional bits each year, and that's what a lot of people come for. But it's those bits that we change, that are modern, current, something's happened, that makes it funny. We can all have fun, and each panto's got something from whatever's current that year, but they do it in their own way, and I think that's really good. So yeah, I do think it's changed to become not necessarily politically correct, but we definitely try not to offend anyone in whatever we do. But I do think it's changed, but for the better. So yeah. Question 2, if you could appear in Panto with any other celebrity, living or dead, who would it be? That's really, really tricky. I've been very lucky that I've appeared with some lovely celebrities. One behind me there, Anita's there, Anita Harris. She was an absolute superstar, and I loved that season working with her. But to work with anybody living or dead, Les Dawson would be right at the top of my list. I grew up watching Les Dawson. I think he was an absolute genius, and to work with him would be brilliant. And I think the same, I grew up watching, and it was very much my dad's influence on me, the two Ronnies, definitely the two Ronnies. Ronnie Barker, I think I'd be happy just to sit in the wings or sit in a rehearsal room and watch him write and come up with these wonderful scenes, sketches, one-liners. And Ronnie Barker, I think I'm 6'3", so to stand next to him on stage, and again, he's a fantastic performer, but to stand on stage with him, a very talented man in his own right. So yeah, Les Dawson, Ronnie Barker, Ronnie Court, the two Ronnies would be amazing. So they would be my choices. Question 3. Prior to the dreadful outbreak of COVID-19, did you have plans already in place for 2021 Panto? How has this affected you? Yes, I do. I did have plans. I still do have plans. Fingers crossed. I'm booked to appear, hopefully, back at the Brindley Theatre in Runcorn for my second year back there with new pantomime productions. As it stands, we're hoping that there's a glimmer of hope still that we can go ahead. We haven't been told otherwise. And I think from just chatting to the producers and stuff at New Panto, that if we can do something and we can do it safely and in line with whatever the guidance is at the time, then we will certainly try and put something on. I mean, fingers crossed. And I do. It was hard. It's a hard read every day to watch all these pantomimes being cancelled, postponed, and my heart goes out to all panto performers that aren't going to be performing this season. It's one of those that if it does get pulled, then it's obviously for the right reasons. And I'm very lucky. I've got 2 young children, so it'll be more family time at home, and every cloud has a silver lining, so that would be my my cloud, that I get more time with the family and the children at Christmas. But I'd miss it so much, and I'm sure every performer that does it every year would say that with Panto not happening, it's gutting, soul destroying. I think the country will suddenly realise how important pantomime actually is. It's not just one of these things that is just a bit of fun. It's important to everyone. It makes Christmas, and when we do get to get back into the theatres, I hope they all come flocking and we just see sold out across the board, really. So, but as it stands, I'm still due to appear, so fingers crossed. I'll keep you posted. Question 4. Did you watch Panto as a child? What's your earliest memory of it? I did. I grew up in Hastings. I now live up in Cheshire with my wife. I lived in Hastings, so I've watched many a performance at the White Rock Theatre. And yeah, my first probably vivid memory was my dad getting up on stage to do the song sheet. We used to do lots of when I was younger, all the amateur dramatics, and my family used to get involved. And I remember we got front row tickets. It was Jack and the Beanstalk, and the stage crew spotted me and my dad in second row back, and they'd obviously had a word. Jeremy Beadle was there as, I think, comic, and he got my dad up for the song sheet. He was a big man, and they put a voice changer on the microphone and that, and I was absolutely howling. It was hilarious. So they stitched my dad up, but he was a good sport and he had a great time. But I think I can't remember much more about that, just my dad going up on stage. I'm sure it's brilliant. But my first memory of a pro panto that sticks in my head was Peter Pan. It was Jesse Spencer from Neighbours. It was an absolutely brilliant show. The story of Peter Pan. I've never actually done it. I'd love to do it because I think the story is really magical, and that's really important for the kids as well. And yeah, it was so magical. You had the flying, the lighting was beautiful, the sound was amazing. And I remember watching that, Peter Pan, Jesse Spencer. It was a really good show. I think it must have been early 1990, something like that. But yeah, that was my earliest sort of memory of a panto. Finally, question 5. Have you ever worked with anyone in panto who you did not enjoy performing with? Maybe a diva or someone just doing it for the money and hating every second. Now, I know I've seen a few of these. I didn't know that this question was going to be on my one. I know what you all want me to say. And the answer is yes, I have. I know you'll want me to name names. I'm not going to do that. But I have worked with people who maybe weren't doing it for the right reasons. I think that a few years ago, maybe not now, but a few years ago, there was a lot of maybe reality TV stars and that I think they thought it was an easy ride. And I sort of touched on it earlier that it's not an easy skill. It's something that we all learn and work really hard and try and improve on. And, you know, everybody can put on a costume and go on stage, but to actually, you know, command, I don't know if command's the right word, but, you know, keep that audience's attention from babies to your nans and that. It's not an easy ride. It's a tough schedule. And I think some of them did, you know, do it for the money, but that's why they ended up hating it, because actually they suddenly realised, oh, hold on, this is hard work. And that's not everyone. There's just a few that it's been, a tough ride, and you sort of just have to grit your teeth and get on stage. And luckily, I think for most of us, we'd say once you get out on stage in front of all the smiling faces and that you sort of can forget about that and you just enjoy performing. But there's definitely been a few people that, unfortunately, it has been a lot of the reality stars that they just didn't realise actually how hard panto is to do well. It's a busy schedule. The rehearsals it's quick, it's intense. And there's a lot of people out there that we work really, really hard. And, you know, this is a big chunk of our livelihood and we take it very seriously. It may look like we're having fun. I think that's the test, isn't it? If you can look as though you're having loads of fun and it is really easy, you know, you're doing the job, because actually a lot of hard work has gone into a pantomime. And I've done, well, it'll be 17 years now that I've been lucky enough to perform in a professional pantomime. And I've worked with the 99% have been absolutely fantastic. And actually some of my favourite pantomimes were actually where we didn't have any celebrities. It was just good, strong, solid pantomime performers, and we had great times, really good. I understand, of course, why pantomimes, producers in certain venues, they need those celebrity names for different reasons, and I get that. And there's a lot of celebrities that are wonderful. They understand it. They've paid their dues, and that's great. And I love to listen to all their stories about if they were working with other celebrities and that. I love that. But yeah, I won't name names, but there has been a few, and hopefully I haven't been one to anybody else. We'll find out in later videos. So yeah, that's all my questions. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that everyone waiting to hear on Pantomime, if there's a glimmer of hope and you do get to work, have a fantastic season. I really do hope that if there is a glimmer, we can get some pantomimes on. For those that sadly won't be performing this year, I hope you get through the season all right. I'm sure we'll all be thinking of each other, and we'll come back stronger once we can get all these theatres open and get these bums on seats. And I just hope that everyone, the public, realises that life without pantomime, it ain't good. We need it. We need to keep these theatres going, and we need to make Christmas magical, and we bring a lot of joy to that. So yeah, but that's all from me. I look forward to watching them all. Stay safe, and come and see me in the Brindley, hopefully, if we are open. If not, send us a Christmas card. Bye.